there will be a quality phase where we'll be entirely testing the product, and then it goes to the production. So this is the waterfall model. Whereas like in Agile, we used to segregate the works into small stories, and we used to do the work 15 days once. We used to call that as a sprint. That days varies. So we used to segregate into sprints, and we try to complete the stories within that particular sprint. That is like within some 2 week span, we need to complete that story, and then we'll go to the next sprint. So this is how like Agile works, and most of the, as I said, like 90% of the teams here in software industry are following the Agile. So we need faster uh, delivery from the quality point of view. So that's why when we say faster, we might miss the quality. I mean, when I say the quality, it means it can be like the quality from the functional point of view, like the functionality. When I say the features might not work, we might miss some functionalities when we are testing. This is one thing. Another thing, when we are doing from the automation point of view, we need to write the code. So when we write the code, we might miss quality some test cases, or like we might be not writing a quality test cases. So that is also thing which we need to consider. So these are the common things which even the current day teams from the quality side, we are facing this issue. So as the point mentioned, need for faster and more reliable testing approaches in agile and continuous delivery pipelines. So when we say this, earlier, like we used to have these releases like planned like 6 months once, or quarterly once, like that we used to develop the stories in multiple sprints, or like using waterfall, and at the what is it, like at the end we'll be doing the testing and going to release. But nowadays what's happening is like we are doing the release on demand, like every sprint, or even like it at some projects we are having 2 days once a release. So people are like not considering release as a major task. When I say release, it's the release to the production, to the real world. So for that, like they have implemented all the DevOps tools and the pipelines, everything being added. But for two things to work in that order, like a daily release or something, then everything should be in place. The quality shouldn't be compromised. Even if a single release being like with some defects or anything, like it will be a escalation, or it will be like problem to the organization. So for that, why I'm like explaining this much is like we need to know like the quality matters the most. When in the point of the developers, they will be addressing the requirement whatever they given to the code them. They'll be like just addressing to that, and they'll be delivering it to the QA team. But the QA team is the gatekeeper. They are the one who need to be answerable to the organization that why this thing is missed. So this point is one of the major thing, and then comes the business impact of the software defects. As I said, even a single defect can cost millions, or like even billion, not billion, like 10 million to 100 million of dollars also lost in some of the projects which I have seen due to a small minor defect. So for this, like we need to be very careful in finding the what is like bugs or anything. We shouldn't miss everything should be like captured in the lower environments. When I say lower environments, dev environment, QA, or even in the UAT. So these are the major things. And then like as I said, the same point, like the high quality software is today's fast-paced development. In the fast-paced development environment, when I say we have like multiple environments being placed when we are like going for a building a project. We have dev environment, QA environment, SAT, and then other environments, sit environments are there. So we will be like doing multiple level of testing where we won't miss any defects. Then this is the transition from manual to how we did the transition from manual to automation. I want to bring this evolution. See, you want to know like why require an automation. See, for example, there is a project which is beginning. It's the beginning of the project, and they are going to release in 2 months. I mean, like they plan for a, let's say like a quarterly. So in this quarter, they would have written I mean, like the QA team would have like written some test cases, around some 100 test cases. For example, I'm saying they are like executing this 100 test cases. It might take, say, for example, there are three QA engineers there. They would have executed this test case for 3 days or 4 days. They would have taken time to execute this. Okay, fine. So this will take 3 to 4 days of effort for a 3 member of QA engineers, whereas the next release comes in, and another 3 more months of work they would have done, and another 100 more test cases would have been added. Then the effort would be 6 days or 7 days, adding the 3 days earlier. Likewise, the days will be building for every release. Say if the project is being there for 3 years, then it will take, say for example, a month or more to do the testing itself, because the old test cases shouldn't be broken. Or what will happen is like team has to invest more in getting more QA persons. Earlier, like they had 3 members, then they have to pull in like 10 members or 15 members, which will cost the team more. So to avoid this thing, what the IT industry adopted is the automation testing. So when we say automation, what will happen is the first month, first quarter itself, few people will like say when I say 3 members, 3 members will be doing the manual testing and they'll be writing that 100 test cases. And once that particular test case is being tested, there will be another team. There will be like some 2 members or 3 member team. Another QA team will be there. Those team will be called as automation team members, where they'll be completely like working only with respective to automation. Whatever the manual testers has written, the test cases which is being tested, they will just write the automation code for in Java or JavaScript, whatever language. We have like multiple tools to do this. Like the major tool for automation would be Selenium. We have n variety of tools like Cypress, Cucumber, Karate, like that. We have multiple things. The team would have like chosen according to their requirement, and they'll be writing the automating the test. So when the release is going to happen, this 3-day effort is there, right? That won't be there with respect to the manual tester or from the automation tester. They will be having a suit being created, automation suit. What they'll be doing is just do a click. They'll be integrating this test cases with Jenkins or whatever this continuous integration tool they have. They will just do a click. It will take some around 1 hour or 2 hours, 3 maximum. So it will run all the test case and it will give you the report in a rich UI, and you can see whatever things like easily. So this is the first release. The second release, the same thing happens. We already have the test cases developed. Again, what will happen is like another 100 more test cases will be added to the automation. Likewise, this will reduce that huge effort of the having the team more increased members. So this is the reason why like people moved from manual to automation. So this happened around 2007 or 8. It started. Prior to that, it was there, but it was hugely adopted to the team in the round after 2005 for sure. And it went into the peak after 2012, 13. At that time, it went into the peak, and now like no team is having only manual tests. Might be like in the initial period they will have manual alone, but when it is like moving more than 3 months or 4 months the project, then surely like they'll have automation testers. So the benefit of automation testing would be like increase the efficiency, reduce the human error, and faster feedback loops. So when we say faster feedback loops, we have the reports handy. So it will also point out like where it failed and why it failed. Also nowadays, like we can easily see, we can have the videos of what happened, and we can even see the screenshots. So all these things like we can easily create, and with the advent of AI, we can do a number of things. We'll be seeing that one in the future slides. And coming to the efficiency, when I say when a manual tester does a test, he might miss some scenarios. Like even if the test case is recorded, due to the human effort, human error, like they will miss, might happen. But with the automation code, it won't cheat. So you will be getting the efficiency will be increased, and the human error will be reduced. So the challenges of maintaining the traditional automation, when I say traditional automation framework, which doesn't have any AI into the picture, is like as the application grow, it will be becoming more complex. So for example, like one of the project I had around some 10,000 plus test cases. So what will happen is like if a new feature comes in or any upgrade like happen within that functionality in the software, so what becomes is like uh, the existing 10,000 test case, in that like around some 100 test cases or 50 test cases might fail because due to the new introduction. Again we have to go and run this 50 or 100 and see like why it failed, and we have to fix those things. So this maintenance effort is like a nightmare for the project which has more test cases. So this is the disadvantage of having automation testing. So advent of AI in testing. So where after this AI come into software testing, so this thing is like right now it's in the beginner stage, like with from after the chat GPT introduction only, like most of the teams are like using the AI into software testing. They are like doing an R&D or like implementing the ChatGPT APIs or what other AI tools which we have into the existing frameworks, and checking like how it will help and speed up the process. Like I said, like AI enhances automation by learning from the data and improving itself. So you would have like in the yesterday's session, you would have seen like how we are like feeding the data to AI so that like it remembers things, and later next time when we ask the same, it will give you the result in a more helpful manner for you. So same way like this automation as well. Whenever like you are feeding the data to the related to the automation,
சார் பேசுறார்.
uh, so can others be go on mute? Okay. So when we are like making the AI to learn the existing automation details, when we feed all these details, the next time onwards, you don't need to worry about writing the automation code itself. It will write the code for you. You have to just do a prompt saying like a line or something, then it will does the work. So for example, if you are writing some test cases for 3 days, it will write you in 10 seconds. So this is the way what AI is right now helping the team to increase the productivity of the automation side. And this AI overcomes the challenges of manual and traditional automation testing, like maintenance as well, and like scalability and adaptability. Here, we don't need to worry about how many test cases we are going to write, or how it will work with different environments. As I said, like we have different environments, we have different credentials, URLs, everything will be there. So we need to take in traditional way, we need to take care of each and everything. We need to make sure everything is kept in place. All these things we need to take into consideration, but now it will take care of everything, like it will be scalable, and you can easily adapt it to your existing framework as well. As I said earlier, it will surely increase the productivity by, I would say, 60 or 70% with the existing. If the team is like used to this new AI standards, it will surely increase the productivity more than 50%, and it will also maintain the standards what it was not following earlier. Earlier, for a when you see, as I said, the automation team is also same like a development team, where we will write the automation code in any of the languages, Java, JavaScript, Python, or anything. And we will raise a PR. When I say PR, it's a pull request where other team members, leads will review the PR, and they will give the comment saying like, hey, your code is not good, or you need to improve the code, like this is not good, and this is my recommendation. Like that, they will give some comments, and we have to fix that. And then we have to again send it to them for the approval. Once they approve the pull request PR, then only the particular task, automation task, will be considered as closed until it's like open. So this process is also a quite challenge with the team. I mean, like all the teams, unless the team becomes mature. So the problem would be like the PR comments will be like going in a loop here and there, like it will go to the approver, and it will again come back to you, again it will go back. So it will take time consuming. But whereas here with AI, all this recommendation, all these comments, we can just feed it to the AI. I mean, to the ChatGPT or Copilot, like that. We have multiple. If we just feed it to that, then the next time onwards, before raising the pull request itself, the automation QA can just ask the AI to check, hey, all these comments, all these recommendations are being addressed. So it will automatically, you don't need to write a single piece of code after that. It will automatically do all the work for you, and it will give the code to you as well. You need to just save the code and execute it and check like whether it's working fine or not. If it's not working, it will be very minimal work from the for the automation engineer to just fix that code and run it. So this will like, and also it maintains the standards, as I said, like the coding, all the coding standards will also be taken care. And also, for example, in the interviews, people used to ask you to write a program. Uh, the interview might ask you to write a code program to solve some coding logics. So for that, you will give some answers. See, that answer might be not an optimized one. He might expect, hey, give me some optimized answer. So until like they will be like expecting high coding standards to be followed in the interviewer point of view, because they want that high quality code to be there in that project. So that thing can be solved here. See, you don't need to write a high quality code here. You can just write whatever the logic you remember. You can just write like a basic developer. You can write for loops, if loops, whatever it is, and just copy that code and just ask the AI, hey, convert it to check whether it is an optimized code or not. If it is a, or you can ask it to convert it to optimized code. It will automatically convert it to the what is it, like quality uh, optimized code. So you don't need to worry about the quality code and all. So everything will be taken care by the AI. So I want to just tell like what is a glimpse of what is AI powered testing. So as you guys know, like AI powered testing is like artificial intelligence, where like we use the machine learning to automate, like where we'll feed all the data to that machine learning, and we will train that. See, at the first time it won't know what it is. It's being trained by giving the data. What it's like a baby, where a baby doesn't know anything. Initially, we will be like telling them, hey, this is that. As the day grows, the baby becomes a kid and it goes to school, it learns things. Likewise, the same happens here in machine learning. We are like feeding the data. It's like a baby now. We are feeding data to it, and once the data is being fed, it will be the master. So you don't need to worry about anything. It will take care of all the things. So this is how like the definition I would say in my wording. So the key component here in the AI powered testing here is like the machine learning, as I said, like which analyzes the past data and identify the patterns and make the predictions accordingly. And it uses the natural language processing, where it takes the human language in our own layman language and generate, and it has a variety of algorithms in the background, where it optimizes the all the things in the background and gives us what we require. So we don't need to give talk it with like coding and all. It can be like a human interaction. And predictive analysis as well. So if there are like it predicts the failure prone areas and like a high risk codes based on the historical data. It will predict, say today like I asked something to the AI, and after like a month and I ask the same thing which is related to that, it will have those things in the memory and it will answer to you in that same context. So you can also get the historical data as well. So what is this AI power? So I will just give this like traditional automation with AI powered automation. By now itself, like you might have some idea like how AI is like helping improving the traditional automation. Here, like in traditional automation, it majorly focuses on the rules-based, like predefined scripts that need to be constantly updating. All these things has to be done. Whereas with this AI-powered automation, it dynamically adapts, learns from the data. See, it evolves, and like you don't need to come and have a manual intervention and maintenance, all these things. It requires some maintenance, but humans touch is required at any point, but it would be like very minimal. It's not like completely we can't depend on this AI and do these things, because it is in the beginning stage. As I said, maybe like after 5 years or 10 years we can like totally depend on that, but at the current stage it requires human touch. So in software testing, how it helps, like it enhances the decision making, like by analyzing the large volume of data. See, uh, for creating test cases, or like for so when I say test cases, we need test data. So data plays an important role in doing the testing. Say when we do some performance testing, you need to uh, break the system. Like if some websites are there, some, say for example, if you take Flipkart or Amazon, so some festival sales comes in, and at that time the traffic would be huge. So you might have seen like IRCTC's tackle booking. So at that particular time alone, the website will be like hanged. All these things will happen. It's because the large volume of users comes in, hit that endpoint. So that endpoint will not able to respond, because That endpoint can handle only this much of users. So to test that thing from the automation point of view, we require that much of data. So we don't before this AI, we used to prepare the data manually. Like we need to create the data either from Excel or something, like we create that and we have the data as an input to the automation. Whereas now you don't need to worry about that. You just give the prompt to the AI, say like, hey, this is the scenario. I want 10,000 data for this. It will automatically give it to you as a file or something. You can just take and do the work. It will do in seconds, and then automates the repetitive and labor intensive tasks like test case generation, test execution, and the defect detection as well. We'll be like seeing these things in the demo. And it improves test coverage by considering the diverse scenario that might not be covered by human testers. As I said, when I say like, hey, how many scenarios, test scenarios you can create for a login page? So few people will say like, okay, we can give a correct username, password, and check whether it's logging. That's one case. We can give wrong username and correct password and check whether it's not going into the log page. Like that, they will say like 3 or 4 or 5 test cases. But when I ask AI, it will give you hundreds of test cases, even what you can imagine, or like whatever it is. It even gives the edge cases as well, what we can't imagine. So that's what I'm saying, like it increases the test coverage, whatever like you want. Say in some project, they will say like, we want test coverage should be 90 more than 90% or like 50%. It's based on the project requirement. So this AI is like helping us like in these areas. Types of AI power testing, as I said earlier, like it helps us in generating the test cases where it analyzes the application data, user behavior to automatically generate more comprehensive data test cases. Like here, when I say this, you don't need to worry about. You don't. It basically makes the QA to think less. Don't need to break their head. What they need to do, whatever they understood from the requirement, say some whatever the requirement about that story, they just need to type that requirement to the AI and say like, hey, this is my requirement. I am planning to create this test cases. Or you can just let them know like, these are the test cases I'm planning. Whether you think like this is enough, or like you need, am I missing anything, or can you create some more test cases? It will automatically give you the test cases, as I said earlier. And test optimization as well. As I said earlier, you'll be like, for example, you have written 100 lines of code, and you see like you might have repeated multiple code again and again. Reusability might be missed, so boilerplate code can be introduced. All these things can be there. So for this, uh, again, AI comes into picture. It removes the redundancy, so no need to worry about cleaning the code, all these things. I would give an example like in my one of the projects just now I joined, where it was a old project. I joined in the middle, like after the project it was 3 years of, there are like 8,000 test cases are there. But when I see that test cases framework was not good enough, like it had like lot of repeated codes, and the test cases were like not properly maintained in the framework. But it took like around 1 month for me. I created a plan, and with the help of AI, I cleared all the what is like the non bad code, and like introduced more test cases, and now it's like being executed in the pipeline without any issues with the help of AI. If the AI is not there, it would have been for me like 4 months or 5 months of activities for that much of 8,000 test cases. So that's what like a real example what happened to me. And self-healing test. So this is another topic where the test automatically fixes the code. Say, for example, there is an UI, and in an UI, let's take a login page itself. So giving the username and password, and you'll be clicking the login button. So the login button will have some locator, some identifier. Say from the automation code, we have to give the identifier of that particular login. So you can find that identifier from the network tools in the inspection from the browser itself. So with that, we'll be like creating the application, I mean like automation for that login button to click. So what happens is like in future, there is some requirement comes. Say for example, that locator's identifier name is ABC. Okay, let's assume this way. And in future the developer changes it to abc login something. So at that case, what happened? My test will fail. Whereas with the self-healing test, we need to not only that particular one identifier, we'll be also mapping multiple identifiers. If one identifier is failing, it what it does is it automatically goes and checks for the next identifier, and it pulls that identifier and it will run the test case for that identifier. So we have that kind of self-healing test here. So as I said earlier, when we had 10,000 test cases, if any new feature, small feature comes in, 100 or 500 test cases might fail. So when we have this kind of maintenance things, I mean, like being implemented in our project, then you don't need to worry. Like in that 100 test cases failed, it will automatically hear at least 60 to 70 test cases. So we don't need to worry about these things. And visual testing. When I say visual testing, you can even take the do the automation testing with the help of images. Like you'll be capturing the image of your web page or your desktop application, whatever it is, and you'll be like comparing it with whatever like you have, and it will say like, okay, this font is big and this font is smaller. Like these kind of things also we can do with the help of Apply Tools is a visual testing tool which integrated is currently with the AI, and we can do that one as well. And defect prediction. So where like with the historical data, it will know like what is the expected, and this AI will recommend us predict and tell like, hey, this is the area like which we think you need focus on, saying like this might be a wrong, or like this might go and become a defect. So try to look into it like that. It will predict, and also you can also raise defects also from this AI as well. Say for example, it will give you detailed instructions. Earlier, for raising a bug, it requires at least 15 to 10 to 15 minutes for us to raise a bug, because we have to give all the details required for the bug. Usually what happens is like, you can't directly say, like, say it's the same example, I'm giving correct username, wrong password, and logging in, it takes me to the next page. So at that time, user may, sorry, we'll be like raising a bug saying like, you have to type this thing and give a wrong password, then click, it's going to the next page. This is the screenshot. Like that, we have to give entire details in the bug. I mean, like when I say bug, there are multiple tools where we can record the bugs like Jira, Bugzilla, like that. We have multiple things. But for doing that process, it would take at least 10 to 15 minutes for us to record, take all the screenshots, video recordings, everything. Whereas with the help of AI, what currently we are doing is like, it's like we are speaking with my friend. I'll just go and tell like, hey, this is the problem happening. Just give me a bug template for this issue. It will automatically type all this 20 or 30 lines related to that bug. I'll just copy that and I'll go and paste in the Jira bug and do some minor adjustments like some 1 or 2 minutes. So this will hugely reduce the defect reporting process as well. And this test data management, as I said earlier, like thousands, 10,000s of data also we can easily generate and maintain without any hassle. Then coming to this, like benefits of AI in testing, same speed and efficiency. From manual itself, like automation made the process free speed. Now this automation, traditional automation to AI powered automation is increasing more and more speed, so that what's happening is like when a developer delivers a story to QA, in my project itself, I'm saying this an example. In my he's developing and he's giving the story to me. I will do the manual testing and as well as the automation parallelly with the help of AI. And I'll be, once I complete this automation, automatically this code will be moved to the next environment, and again my automation code will run in that environment. Say for example, I'm doing the automation in QA environment, it will do the testing here, and then again it will we have configured the pipelines to move to the next environment and do the testing. So all these pipeline codes as well we are generating from the help of AI, and we are doing it so that it will take us to the production the next day. I mean, the after I complete the automation, the next day it goes to the, if everything is success, it goes to the production release itself. So that's the speed which we are currently having. Earlier we used to have like release itself like 3 days of effort, but that thing is being cut down. And test coverage, when I say test coverage, same thing. You don't need to worry about whether you're missing some test or other things. You can just say like, hey, this is my requirement, I've written this many test cases, am I missing any coverage? It will automatically give you, hey, you missed this thing or missed that thing. So that like you don't need to worry about the coverages. It's kind of like a friend, or I wouldn't say friend. It's kind of a mentor who don't need to ask for the availability. It will like give you the perfect results to you. But you shouldn't be to 100% dependent on this AI. You need to be manually analyzing the results what it gives. Don't I mean like close your eyes and believe whatever the AI says. It might say wrong at times if we like not prompting correctly. And the accuracy, as I said, this accuracy, it eliminates the human error and makes the automation script like leading to more precise in defect detection as well. I think like I talked about this self-healing test earlier, where like we that particular see this self-healing test is not being like commonly used in all the common frameworks like Selenium or other things. What is being there is like there are specific tools in the market, AI tools, which have this capability, but this capability will soon come into the Selenium, Cypress, and Playwrights tools are there. So it will come into existence to that one. But I just highlighted this point so that like you guys know this is in the future which we will be taking it. It will reduces the maintenance effort. So the maintenance is the major nightmare for automation team when the size is more. And continuous learning. So as I say, like AI improves over time by time, and like from the previous test results, it learns and it adapts accordingly, and continuously it refines the test strategy, and it will give you the test plan and everything. Like don't need to worry. Say if someone comes and asks like you, hey, can you write a test plan? Say for example, usually test plans or test strategies used to be written by the test leads or test managers. But if you are like a 2 years experience and your product manager is coming and asking you, can you create a test plan? So you don't need to worry. You just tell the AI, can you create a test plan? And these are my requirements. It will automatically create you the test plan, and you can just verify with it. So these kind of things which we are like currently having, and same the predictive analytics, like it analyzes the past test data, and it predicts like the future failures or high risk or whatever. Like it gives you the results as well. A power test framework. So you can integrate this AI with earlier before year or so, year or two, we didn't have these things. We have to say, for example, if I face any issues like in the coding or something, what usually IT people used to do is like they used to just refer to the official documentation of the coding. I mean, Java or JavaScript, whatever it is, and then they do search in the web, like from Stack Overflow or like some other lead codes or anything like for any help or previous failures, something like they used to go and check those stuff. But nowadays, you don't need to worry; everything is there in the AI. So then also like you have to go to externally to some other chatbots and ask like this is my issue and give me some solution for this. So this was like before 6 months or 1 year back. But now what happens is like we have multiple plugins being created with the help of AIs, either with the chat GPT's open AI or like with the Copilot, uh, and like multiple things are there where you need to just integrate that plugin into your IDE. When I say IDE, it can be IntelliJ, Eclipse, or VS Code, whatever it is. You need to just integrate that plugin. It might be paid or it might be free. You need to get the license and then integrate with your IDE. That's it, fine. So you don't need to go to some other place. Say I'm just typing something in my code in Eclipse, and if I want to check something, I have to go to the browser or chat GPT and say like, this is my issue, give me the result. So that work also they have like simplified in the same IDE that is in the Eclipse itself. You can just go and there itself, like you can just check like for the recommendation, it will provide you then and there. And then like AI driven test strategy here, as I said, like it optimizes and dynamically adjusts the test plans. Say if you are not able to meet the things on time, or like if the requirements are changing, you have a test plan already being created and test strategy is already there. It automatically optimizes the test strategy and plans and give you the updated one as well. Practical examples like how we here like how the things works with the continuous integration as well. So when I say continuous integration, we require the Jenkins or some other Bamboo or some other continuous integration tools are there. where we'll be like integrating. Say when earlier we used to raise the PR and do the complete the code, raise the PR, then merge the PR. After that, we'll be like running the pipeline, and the test cases will give the reports. These are the things which we did earlier. But nowadays, like what we are doing is like we are just pushing the code. After merging, it will automatically we have written the hooks and everything with the help of the AI. We have written the complex pipeline scripts and everything. It gives us in seconds. So the only thing required is like you need to be clear with your requirements. So that's the expected things here. And about the how to use the AI. So the main thing is like you don't need to worry about how learn the programming languages, anything, but you need to know like the programming languages, everything, but you don't need to implement those things. ChatGPT or AI will do the work for you. But what you need to know is whatever the code it gives, whether that's the correct one or not, that you need to know. And then you need to place it according to the tools. Here nowadays, like the cloud comes into the picture, you need to utilize the cloud like AWS, Azure, everything, integrate with our frameworks and make the life easier. So that's the current expectation around the IT industries currently into the picture. Earlier it used to be like it will be like things will be like independent. You will be QA team will be working independent, dev team will be working independent. Nowadays it's not like that. Everyone like combining as a team, and everyone takes the ownership for the entire product, not only their areas. So as I said, like in the previously in the agile and DevOps continuous testing. So once I do a merge automatically, or like say for example, if a developer is when I say like the 10,000 test case itself, we can take an example. So these 10,000 test cases are running fine, but in that a developer is introducing a new one, it might cause like fail 100 or 200 test cases. But how do we know? The developer, once he pushes his code to dev environment or QA environment, automatically we'll have some sanity test case or smoke test case already be prepared, and it will be like in the Jenkins or something. We'll just integrate that developers pipeline with our automation code pipeline. So as soon as the developers pipeline is being executed, completed, deployed to the environment, QA environment, this automation pipeline will execute. If it is passed, then only the code will be like approved, or else the developer has to push back what is like take back the changes, and he has to work. Now this is the one happening before a year or two. Now what's happening nowadays is like when the automation code fail, it we have with the help of AI, we have written a code like to create a bug automatically on the failures, and push back the with the help of like APIs, we have pushed back the roll back the developers Jenkins build to the old one. So this kind of things also we are continuously doing with the help of AI, where we are getting like faster feedback in agile and DevOps pipelines by automating the testing process. Text execution in CI/CD, where like we have used the AI to run in continuous integration and continuous development and all without slowing down the release process. We have integrated everything with the help of Docker. We have Dockerized so that like everything runs independently. With these things also, we don't need to steady the Docker. See, to implement this, I was not aware about Docker anything anywhere, but it only took some half a day for me to do this activity. So this AI made the things simple for us to do these activities. And smarter pipelines. AI automates the identification of critical test cases, helping to optimize the DevOps pipelines. So we have like segregated multiple pipelines like smoke, sanity, regression. So when we say regression, if due to the introduction of new changes, the old test case shouldn't be broken. So this one takes care of that one as well, and it gives you the result as what is it like on demand, like without any delay. So currently, like we'll quickly look into some demos where with the help of I'll be covering three things here with the help of ChatGPT, with Test Rigor, and GitHub Copilot. So this ChatGPT is you guys might be have some idea about what this ChatGPT does, whereas this Rigor, it's a complete a tool which is there in the market, which is fully automated. So it's a new tool where it does like major. You don't need to write a single piece of code. it will do automatically everything. Whereas with ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot, we'll be writing the code, the AI will be helping us. Whereas with Test Rigor, we don't need to worry about anything. It will do all the things. We have to just give the natural language, like human language, with all the details to it. First, we'll go to the ChatGPT. I have created like multiple prompts so that like we won't waste time. So just say, for example, this first prompt, I'm going to give it to the ChatGPT saying like given below is one of the software recommend to register user to the system. So I'm saying like, see, uh, the product owner will just give you the requirement, and let's see like how ChatGPT is helping us. Here, like username should be an email ID, and password should be 8 characters. Are the restrictions which we have, and at least one cup. These are some of the restrictions the use password have. Now I'm telling the ChatGPT, be my prompt engineer and test expert, and help me with prompt that will check the correctness and completeness, accuracy, contradiction. It's like what we are doing here is verifying the requirement is correct or not. See, requirement might be also wrong at sometimes, like it might be not logical. But here, I'm just giving that entire prompt here. Let's see what ChatGPT does. See, it gives the detail of what this requirement speaks about. Evaluate the software requirement for the user registration, notify completeness or accuracy. Here it gives the requirement description, what it details. So if you want to, for example, create some documentation conference pages, you can just ask it to create this one, and you can put it directly there. So that is also we can do. And it says like guidelines, we need to check the correctness, and then we need to check the completeness. And let me go down here. You can see like key questions for the refinement. uh, this is another huge thing which I say, like during in agile model, we used to have refinement meetings where we take one story, and not one story, all the stories which we are going to work in that particular 2 weeks gap. We'll take that one, and we'll like with the entire team we'll sit around and we'll discuss about like what is this and what are the areas it can be improvement. So you don't need to worry about anything, just post it and it will give you all the questions for you to discuss. So what are the areas need to be implemented? Say we gave the comment, it say like what special characters are allowed in the password. Okay, for example, in some web pages it won't allow hyphen or it won't allow special characters. So this thing is not there in the requirement which we gave. So it's saying like, hey, raise this question, and saying like in should the system enforce a maximum password length. It said minimum 8 characters, but we are like not worried about that maximum. So it raises all the possible questions which might be a issue in the next step. I mean like in the future, say when the, if you are not raising these questions in the refinement planning session, what happens, like we'll develop according to the limited information which is there in that requirement. And we will have like tested the testers, what do they will be like testing only these things. Some testers might be smarter and test those other scenarios. Some will test whatever like given in the store, and it goes to production. And again it will, after some time, like it might come from the customer saying like, hey, this is not correct, and again it might be issue. But now these things are being addressed here. So this is one of the prompt. Say the next one would be like please evaluate the following software requirement for the user registration and identify any issues related to the correctness. Same, it's similar to that one. I think like we can skip this. Then if you are a test expert, will you have any clarification on the requirement? So it's like it's another way of prompting, like saying like to give more details on this. See, it gives you the validation rules, what specific emails. Earlier like we only had the questions, but here it gives you the detailed things like should the username accept international email, or like it should have only the this kind of subdomain. All these things, like it will dig deeper from a test expert. Like if a new tester comes in and test this, they will, as I said, like they will test only the important things which is mentioned in the requirement. But it will act like a 10 years experience tester and get all the things covered. You will not be like missing any scenarios from this. Is these are like from the functional testing point of view, I'm saying. Okay, now let's say like from a lead perspective. So what this one, like, say for example, I am launching a new website that sells digital products online. When the user purchases the product, the digital download link is automatically sent to them by email. Some link will be sent to the email, and I would like to write a test strategy to the test this website. Please act as an expert. Say this website itself like a product where they are going to click some email download link which will send an email. Now write a test strategy for this. I will say like in traditional way of automation, or not automation, traditional way of QA testing, we used to take like at least 2 days or some effort for this to complete this work. But let's see like how much time this takes. Just few seconds. It gives me all these details, like what are the things, like what is the objective of this, and what is the scope of testing. These are the things like nothing but a test strategy document. So for this itself, like it will take 2 or 3 days for us to get all the things, and we might miss few things, like for example, what the user experience, like how the user experience should be, and then like what are the email notifications, verify the user's accurate and timely emails, and how the security should be, how the performance should be, all the things. We are defining how the test strategy works, and what are the types of testing going to be done. We are going to do functional testing where we, it also segregates us the features. See, this website has multiple, like user registration login is one feature where it says like you need to test these things. Product browser and search is feature. Likewise, it segregated all the functionalities and says like you need to test these things. And for email, what are the things to be tested in the contents format, and the delivery timelines, when it should be sent immediately or after some times, and all these things like will be like given here in this strategy testing. Usability testing also we can do, compatibility testing, security testing. So these are the things which is present in the test strategy, where this is a document with which the testers will do the work. So see, this what are the things like will be given as a testable after completing this test, complete testing for the product. We'll be having a test plan, we'll have a test cases, execution report, and defect logs. So these are the deliverables which will be giving. So this activity is one, earlier was only did by test managers and test leads. Now anyone can do this with minimal efforts. Like you need to just know which tools you're gonna use. Here they are mentioned simply like JMeter or load runner. You need to know like in your organization what they are using, either Selenium or Playwright or Jira, whatever it is. According to that, you need to just manually tweak here and there. Now let's see like the test case generation. So here, like what it says, like hey, be my expert analyst and create test case for the user registration requirement given below. Please in a tablet form. We are asking to give it in a tablet format so that it will be easy for us to analyze, saying like the expected results, all these things. And these are the requirements we have. See, right now, like I'm just giving some prompts alone. We'll dig deep into the coding as well in the forthcoming year. See, it gives you a detailed test case document saying like for that particular scenario which we went. See, this test case document itself, it will take time for us to see. For each test case, it will take at least 10 or 15 minutes for you to analyze that requirement and write the test cases. See, it writes the test cases quickly and more efficiently. Here it says like, hey, this objective is like verify the user successfully create an account with valid and email and password. Here it's saying like invalid email and password. So for that, what are the steps? Navigate to these things. What is the credentials we need to use, and what is the expected, and what is the priority of the test as well. Okay, say for example, now it created 14, but you think like you need more. Can you create more test cases? See, it automatically creates. So it won't say no to you like anything, like it will help you. It has all the possibilities. If it doesn't have, it will take that as an input from you, and the next time it will help you. So this way, like we can create the test cases only with the requirement. We don't need to worry about anything. See, later stage with this test cases itself, if we feed this thing and ask to write a test case, it will automatically write the test cases. Like for example, can you create Cypress. Cypress is a tool where we write the automation. Cypress test cases for two test cases listed above. See, you what we did is we just pasted the requirement and it gave you the manual test cases. Now it also gave you the automation code as well. You just need to copy, paste, and execute. That's it. So that's this is how like it's making the life easier for the testing team. Earlier, like it will take some what is it like for writing that automation, they would take like 1 day or 2 days for doing the test cases. But I just asked to write it for two test cases. If I asked to write for all, it would have written all for all. Then for end-to-end testing, see, I want to be the expert test analyst and create end-to-end testing for testing in decision table format with steps in columns with the input data for each scenario. The user browse the business scenarios. User browses an e-commerce website, selects product, adds the code, proceeds to checkout, makes a payment, and raises an order. This is like something what we do for Amazon or something. So for this, we can write test cases individually. Whereas like if you want to write some test cases holistically for end to end, like from login to he pastes the add to the cart and pay gets the order placed. So don't need to worry about that. Everything can be taken care. I think like we only have 20 minutes. I'll quickly go to the next. I'll skip certain things. For example, like as I said, creating a bug. I'm saying like page is logging in even with password is empty. So I want to create a bug report. As I said, like in Jira we can do, I said, right? See, it automatically suggests the title for that bug. It gives the description, steps to reproduce. See, the steps to reproduce might change a little bit. You might just need to tweak here and there, and it says the actual result, expected result, severity, priority, environment. So usually we used to type each thing from scratch when we are doing in earlier. But nowadays, like we are utilizing the AI to make this process faster. Same way like for test strategy document, what we did, same we do for test planning as well. And also for each environment also we can do this. I'm skipping these things, like it's not that much important. We have like more to for the demo session. Then act as a test manager and schedule the test execution using risk-based approach, saying like you are a test manager and you want to bring, say like you have two testers and you want to segregate the work and do the thing quicker in a more effective way. For that, like it will give you the schedule as well. You don't need to prepare the schedule in Excel or anything. I have just pasted it. It will tell, like you can see, tester one on order of execution. First he'll work on it and it said like 15 minutes. This is the critical, he will be testing this thing. And tester, this is for tester one. And for tester two, this is the requirement and he'll be working on these test cases. So like that, you can segregate and give in seconds. And it's a like tester one would have worked 3.5 hours for this 6 case. This one would require 3 hours. So this kind of information it can provide. Let's go to Copilot. So this Copilot is nothing but like many soft organizations are giving Copilot. When we say Copilot, someone is like sitting with us and helping us. So Copilot, Microsoft has its own Copilot and GitHub has its own Copilot. Let me deep dive into GitHub. So here we have, let's say like this is my automation code. See, this it blocks are nothing but test cases. Okay, this it blocks are test cases for me. Okay, here what will happen here is we need to just add the plugin of what is that Copilot here. You don't need to do anything, just add the Copilot. So you can see this Copilot thing is being added here. So what we can do is see this. Let's look into this test case. So we have some 3 test cases here, and there are like the commands are added in not in a proper format, like we are seeing like spaces and a lot of it's not clean. So what we can do, we can just ask like for example, I'm raising a PR, I'm raising a pull request for this code, and what happens here is the reviewer will lead or someone will review this and say like, hey, you have added unwanted space or this logic is not good. See, the initial check of PR is the code should be clean. It shouldn't follow the naming conventions. You should have common methods. So like that, we have like initial basic checks. The secondary check would be functionality check. So functionality check, that also it will help, but the basic checks before raising the PR itself, we can solve this with the help of Copilot. I can show you. See here, I have just listed down all the common coding standards like use meaningful name for the variables, organize code into page object model, utilities. Like that, I have given all the like review code for readability. Like that, what are the common things which we use to check when we review the code? All these things I have mentioned here. Like I'm going to train my Copilot on this. So the next time onwards, when I do, it will do the work for me. Yeah, I'm just giving the prompt saying like, below I have listed the commonly used coding standards. Can you remember these and apply them to my code whenever I request for clean my code? When I say clean my code, it should do these activities. So for that, I'm just going to train my Copilot. I'm just taking this, I'm pasting it here and saying like, okay. So it takes this thing and keeps into the memory. Got it. I'll keep this coding standards whenever I like. Okay. So let's see what it already have the things. Now what we are going to do is like I am asking the Copilot here saying like clean my code. When I give this, we already asked Copilot saying like when I give clean my code, it should check all these parameters. Okay, I just did I enter.
మాట్లాడినాడు ఆన్లైన్లో పెట్టాను ఆన్లైన్లో పెట్టు అసలు పని ఇచ్చింది ఎవడరా మాట్లాడేది ఇవన్నీ
Sorry, can you go on mute?
అంటే నేనైతే పొగబడుతున్నాను
Hello, can you go on mute? Okay, fine. So what it does is like it cleans the code. Just a second, I haven't saved this thing. That's why it's happening. See. So it cleans the code. You can just take that and you can just pop it. You can see like these comments are there. It's been removed here and it's arranges and it gives you the, it says like apply the standards to that code. So this thing you can do, or the other thing what we can do is like right now we have 3 test cases as I showed. Okay, this is add test to cart. Okay. So we have 3 test cases. So I want to add more test cases here. So what I can do, I can just request the Copilot. Can you create 2 more tests? It should be negative. We can create positive and negative test cases as well. See, it automatically started typing. The beauty here is it automatically takes the what is like creates the methods as well inside the other things as well, and also it automatically does the assertions as well. You can see this showed is the assertion and it follows the coding standard what we already let it know because it's there in the memory of the Copilot. So whatever we are going to do with the ChatGPT outside, we can do the same with Copilot as well here. And the next one would be test rigor. So this is a test rigor. Okay. Is my screen visible, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So what it technically does is like, see, you need to just take its sign up to test rigor, and you can utilize the free version as well. Here, what you don't need to write any code. For example, let's say this is my website. Let's assume this is my website. Here, I'm going to log in into this by giving the correct username and password and click the login button. So for this, I'm going to write some test case. I would say like demo to something test suite name I'm putting demo login, and here it's asking whether you're going to do desktop web page testing or mobile web page testing or hybrid. So for now, like I'm giving this as a desktop web testing, and which URL I want to do. This URL username, I need to provide the username. My username is Balaji, and it's asked for the password. Okay, in which environment right now, like it's a free version, that's why like it's mentioned only Ubuntu. When you like purchase uh, procure like what is it, like a pro versions, then you'll have all the other environments. In which browser you want, you can just mention whatever you want, and how many test cases you want to create for this. Let's say like I'll say 3 test cases, and it's asked for the description. Here you'll be mentioning the description of what you want to do. Okay, so the let's say like the prompt would be need test cases to be created for bookstore login web page. This is a bookstore web page, so I'm just mentioning that thing. Create test suite. See, it created 3 test cases. Okay, I'm just saying like, it says like whether you need to edit or remove or regenerate. I'm saying like I'm just keeping all this 3. I'm telling like add and build. There is some issue with that website, but it will work. Let me refresh this. So this is tool based testing. You don't need to write any automation.